Hey, everybody. Outside the NHL playoffs, we've reached the offseason where we know hockey may not fully stop, but we are out of the 4 to 5 day a week hustle, which is nice. Kids are outside playing other sports, they're doing other things, which is awesome. We encourage that. But they're not getting the same reads, the same decisions, the same game speed reps that they get during the season. And that's where most players tend to fall behind because the first thing to slip is not the hands, it's the hockey brain, the decision making, the reaction speed, reading the plays. That's the hardest thing to rebuild once the season starts. That's where we continue to be really impressed with NHL Sense Arena, especially their Dangle Pro stick handling drills. It's not replacing ice time. They definitely deserve the break, but it's making sure your kids stay sharp when they're not on the ice. So they come back ready and honestly a step ahead. Right now, they're offering an off-season pricing for $299 for the year. That's less than $1 a day, and you can get up to 4 profiles, so all your kids can use it. It's got hundreds of drills, training plans, game modes, everything. If you've got a goalie too, like I do at home, May is goalie month. There's gonna be weekly prizes, giveaways, even custom painted masks available. My kid is really excited for that. And as always, you can use the code OKPH to save an extra $25 off your purchase at any time. Head over to nhl.sensorina.com and take a look. You will not regret it. If you want your player coming back confident instead of catching up, this is a smart move, as well as listening to this episode. So let's get you into that right now. Hello, hockey skaters and goalies around the world, and welcome to another edition of the Ride to the Rink. It's Lee, Christie, and Mike with you with our friend Scott Howes here. Scott does a lot in hockey. He played pro hockey. He's a playoff MVP. He had one of the greatest, or part of one of the greatest goals in history. You guys watch our channel this week. We'll share that, but make sure the highlights not the only thing that you watch. Make sure you watch this whole episode. He's also a youth coach today, hockey person, hockey life. And he has some great knowledge that he dropped on our big episode this week. So, kids, it's actually one I'm going to recommend you if you have the time to listen to that. But it's the Ride to the Rink. You've only got a short amount of time, so I'm going to throw it to my friend Christy to start the questions.
Scott, thank you for joining us. We got a lot of really good, hardworking kids listening right now, and they all want to get better. And you're such a great example of how far you can take hockey. What do you think is a good habit kids should start right now if they want to improve their hockey skills?
Christy, I think it's the biggest thing for me is that we touched on it earlier. Let's get them watching the game. Let's get them watching the game and understanding the hockey IQ piece, the extra skill training, the extra skates, the extra time in the ice. It's beneficial, sure, but something that's cost effective and something that's, again, it costs you time. Watch the game. Don't watch the highlights, as Lee, you kind of said on your little intro there. Let's not watch highlights. Let's make sure we're watching the game itself. Pick a player out that you like and watch away. And again, I think that'll help tremendously on the way the game kind of goes and the way that you're able to envision things and start to read and react rather than just kind of reacting to things. You'll be able to kind of see things come to itself.
Scott, one of the famous watching the game stories probably is like Wayne Gretzky, right? And talking about how he would just like draw where the puck was going to go. And can you talk a little bit about just not, and you just, hit on the fact, don't just watch the highlights, but watch the game. And maybe what are some strategies you would give a 12-year-old to say, well, watch the game and then like maybe take some notes or maybe take, even if it's just mental, like figure out like, why is the player going here, when, and why? Right. And I think that's like just not just watching the game, but watching it with deliberate, intentions to kind of help yourself understand, why those high level players are doing what they're doing.
Yeah, Mike, I think I would again, the drawing of Wayne Gretzky. Yes, you can outline different things. He was ahead of everybody else for sure in the hockey IQ aspect and the way he did things. He simplified it. One thing that stands out that he said earlier on was he broke everything down on the offensive side into 2-on-1s. So again, that's one thing to do. If you're looking at the game or you're watching a game, break everything down into 2-on-1 offensively, right? You're looking for your player, you're looking for support. If your player has the puck, get over and get into an area where you can kind of get the puck back. But one thing, if we want to take it a step further, watching the game, and sometimes it's hard to pick out one player. Like again, the NHL games or the PWHL games, they're fast. It's hard to find one player. We thought maybe go watch yourself. Have your parent break down a shift, and if you're watching yourself, you can remember what you were thinking, right? You can remember on, why did I do this? What did I do? And it's a little bit easier, and it might trigger a little bit more of that mindset of why, how, when, where, what else did I see? What were my other options? I think, and it's your speed. It's rather than watching the NHL and professional level, it's a little bit farther advanced. So I think that watching yourself and your teammates even might be a little bit easier to dissect and realize that you're not far off from these decisions. So the more you break your own video down, the better it's going to be.
Yeah, and I'll add in here too. Like, look, kids, it's not wrong for you to want to go to your video and watch your goal or watch your big play. I'm not against that. If it's going to build your confidence to see the great play that you made, go watch that play. But you got to watch more than just that. So if you're going to take the time to go access your own video, right, and watch your highlights, that's fine. Watch some of the rest of the game too. One of my favorite phrases, kids, and I coach this, is great questions demand great answers. Okay. And that's, look, for me as a podcast host, like, we try and create really great questions in our episodes because we know it's going to create good answers. Right. So I think another thing, and Scott, I want your thoughts on this too, is when you're going to watch this video, come away with some great questions that you can ask your coach, or if you've got a hockey player in the family, you can ask them too. Right. And the questions don't just have to be about the decisions you made. You should also maybe be watching your teammates, the opponent, seeing the flow of the game. You can learn a tremendous amount from the 360 view of the game as much as just hyper focusing on yourself. There's a lot of decisions made, probably more importantly, not made in a game that you'll be able to see. So, Scott, my question to you is, what should kids be looking for in their own highlights? And then maybe we can talk about what are those great questions, right?
Yeah, highlights. The end piece, the end goal is your goal, right? It's the goal score, whether it's a teammate, whether it's yourself, that's the end. But usually there's something, I guess, usually 95% of the time, it is something that led up to that goal,
Right.
So let's look at the 3 or 4 things that contributed to the goal. Maybe it's and you can look on both sides. Maybe it's a turnover puck on the defensive team, stripped it, and that's what did it. And maybe the place of the turnover, that's something we want to look at. Maybe it's a little bit more dangerous. Let's not do things there, or let's not. And the offensive side is, where and how did we get there? Was it a block shot? Was there something else that kind of came out? Was it a simple chip puck? Was it a good outlet pass? Like, there's lots. So again, the end result is always the thing that most will focus on. Take that out, go back about 3 or 4 steps and see, how did we get there? I can almost guarantee that the Pats go to the guy that scored the goal, or the girl that scored the goal. Let's make sure that you're understanding how and what. Was it a big save? Maybe your goalie stood in his head and made a big save and kicked out or played it, or was it a defenseman with a good outlet pass? There's so much more to it. And I think if we take 2, 3 steps back, 4 steps back, you're going to be in such a better spot on understanding how little those things are, but how big they are.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I'll say too, I had some great coaches growing up that really showed me what you're talking about, like the 3 to 4 steps before a goal. And for the kids listening, if you can start to see those trends and start to understand what especially the other positions and the other players on your team and the other team are doing, you're going to start to develop some pretty important skills. And I remember my coaches saying, look for this play in our defensive zone because it's going to result in an offensive play. The awareness of that, kids, was huge to me, right? Not just I got to get it, run and gun, get to the other end. Like that is not hockey, right? I mean, and if you're really young and you're doing that, hey, good for you. Don't get me wrong, right? You're going to have end-to-end plays every once in a while, especially if you're an offensive player. But that's not the game. It's not how the game plays. All right. So Scott, just fantastic advice on, how to look for things, what to look for. And kids, we always say, look, you have access to videos. Trust me, even if your parents didn't tell you, they have access to your videos. You can find them. Okay. But kids, at the end of the day, it should be coming from you, not from your parents, right? If you're interested, again, if you're listening to this show, you're interested. If you're interested in becoming a better player, watch your video. Maybe watch it alone. And if you've got someone in your house or you got a coach that can really help you, create some great questions. Hey, coach, what should I do here? Or, hey, coach, I didn't understand why this player made this play. Learn. That is such a good key, right? Scott, any final thoughts for the kids before we close this out?
Have fun, work. It's not a job yet. So when you're on the way to the rink, again, it's supposed to be your safe haven. You're supposed to be able to just be yourself, enjoy it. It goes by fast, and yeah, the amount of time that I wish I was still getting my skates on and, playing for a meaningful, January hockey game, let's say, in, the middle of the season. I miss it. So enjoy it, have fun. And yeah.
I love it. And I'll say this too, kids. We've had a lot of guests over the last 6 years, and they have all said just that. Make sure you're having fun and enjoying your time out there, because if you're not, we're not doing this right. All right, kids, listen, we're wishing you the best. Remember, wherever you're at in your hockey journey, we believe in you. You should too. Have fun, skate hard, go learn something. We'll see you on the next Ride to the Rink.